And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday on Spreaker Radio, Roar, 1776 Radio, and MyCast Live Radio from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and also on 405 Media Radio, Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time. Also, we do the Pundit Press, PNN Talk Radio, and SHR Media Radio with the Conservative Syndicate on Mondays and Fridays from 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Time, in addition to countless terrestrial stations worldwide. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Periscope Video, LinkedIn, Google+, Podomatic, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day, simply by clicking on that little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com is where you get all the emails I deal with here on the show. And you can call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. Call directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. Now, today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. On today's special segments, John Matthews, Joe Hakos, and we do a simulcast on politics at the Conservative Syndicate, and David Garrett presents his series on the law. But right now, I want you to stand by for news. But before that, I want you to know that here at 3:03 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 55 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, I'm going to give you some encapsulated news, the 10 things that you need to know for today, and we're going to abbreviate them so you can know exactly what's going on, and then we're going to get more in depth right after this. This is your daily look at late-breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that'll be talked about all day today, probably tomorrow as well. Now, what president is calling imaginary fiction? Well, Obama mocks conspiracy theorists and tears into the National Rifle Association as he describes his plans to tighten gun control rules as modest first steps toward tackling gun violence in America. And how Seoul is trying to get under Kim's skin. South Korea's border broadcasts feature not only criticism of North Korea's nuclear program, troubled economy, and human rights abuses, but also features some sugary pop music. And 3 reasons to worry about China's economy: the tumbling currency, a rough transition to promote consumer spending, and economic mismanagement by policymakers magnifies concerns about the world's second biggest economy. Well, cable behind beach blast has company nationwide. The kind of cable that caused an explosion at a crowded Rhode Island beach last summer may be lying under beaches, harbors, and waterways at nearly 50 sites in 12 states, the Associated Press finds. And why military academies are seeing spike in sexual assault reports. A senior defense official says the sharp increases are due largely to students' growing confidence in the reporting system and expanded awareness programs. Well, armed ranchers ask to leave. 3 Oregon sheriffs meet with Amon Bundy's group to try to persuade them to end their occupation of a federal wildlife refuge after many local residents made it plain that's what they want. Well, for Democratic frontrunner, help is on the stump. Hillary Clinton's impressive stable of surrogates, including Bill and Chelsea Clinton, are already at work on behalf of her presidential campaign, and the Obamas and Bidens will likely step in too. Well, as rain pummels California, a way to fight the drought. To offset the state's epic water shortage, agencies are moving to capture more rain to use during drier times. Gosh, you'd have thought that they'd have had the foresight to do that a long time ago, wouldn't you? Isn't that why you elect these people? They're supposed to be thinking in the future, thinking about challenges and how to overcome them and make things better. Seems like they lost their way somewhere around the way. Well, farewell, Schneider. Pat Harrington Jr., who scored as the cocky handyman on One Day at a Time, has died. He was 86 years old. And finally, look for unknown players to rise up. Rogers, Peterson, Roethlisberger, Watt, and the other star players got their teams to the NFL playoffs. With the season on the line, a lesser-known player often makes the difference. Yeah, go figure, right? Well, you know what? Let's get to a little more in-depth stuff. First of all, from Peña Nieto, Guzman's capture means Mexicans can trust government. The latest on Mexican drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, who was recaptured 6 months after he escaped from a maximum security prison. President Enrique Peña Nieto calls the capture of Joaquin El Chapo Guzman a victory for the rule of law that demonstrates that Mexicans can have confidence in their institutions, using the capture to boost the administration's lagging credibility after a series of scandals. Guzman's escape 6 months ago from a maximum security prison was a major embarrassment to Peña Nieto's government. He made the comments in a televised speech just today. U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch is calling the recapture of Joaquin El Chapo Guzman a victory for the citizens of both Mexico and the United States, and a vindication of the rule of law in our countries. In a statement, Lynch said Guzman will now have to answer for his alleged crimes and congratulated Mexico's government, but did not directly address the sticky issue of extradition. Guzman faces charges in multiple different jurisdictions across the United States. His escape 6 months ago from a maximum security prison in Mexico was a point of friction between the two governments. The U.S. has sought his extradition through Mexico in the past and has said he would be serving his sentences in Mexico first. You know, a Mexican law enforcement official confirms that drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman was captured at a motel on the outskirts of Los Mochis in his home state of Sinaloa. The official was not authorized to talk to the press and spoke on condition of anonymity. Isn't that always the case? I mean, it's always they're not authorized to tell because they're on cases of anonymity. Go figure. Give me a break, would you? So let's see here. Let's see if we can get to something a little more interesting. How about U.S. employers hire at robust pace, defying global trends? Well, you know what? I want to talk to you a little bit more in depth about this one. So let's go for a commercial break. When we come back, I'll talk a little more about how the employers are hiring at a robust pace. This is really good for our economy, good for you, good for me, good for the United States. So don't go away. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, It may be in reach right now from Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're talking news. I told you before we went on our commercial break that we're going to talk about U.S. employers hire at a robust pace, defying global trends. You know, the U.S. economy is motoring ahead despite slowing global growth that caused upheavals in financial markets around the world this week. Employers added a robust 292,000 jobs last month, and the unemployment rate stayed low at 5%. The Labor Department said today, and job gains in the October-December quarter averaged 284,000, the best 3-month increase since last January. The strong hiring underscores the resilience of the United States at a time of slow global growth and financial turmoil, healthy consumer spending, modest gains in home construction, and an uptick in government spending should offset drags from overseas and bolster growth this year, economists say. The report immediately puts at rest a lot of the worries that the U.S. economy will come undone due to the intensifying global headwinds coming out of China and the Middle East, said Mark Vittner, an economist with Wells Fargo. For all of 2015, employers added 2.65 million jobs, a monthly average of 221,000. That made 2015 the second best year for hiring since 1999. That was right after 2014. Boy, that, my friends, is good news. This is really good news, and we got to be excited about this stuff. Well, police say a gunman said he shot Philadelphia cop in Islam's name. A man using a gun stolen from police said he was acting in the name of Islam when he ambushed an officer sitting in his marked cruiser at an intersection, firing more than a dozen shots at point-blank range, authorities said today. Both the officer and suspect were wounded during the barrage of gunfire. The suspect, 30-year-old Edward Archer, also pledged allegiance to the Islamic State group when he was questioned after his arrest in the shooting late Thursday, police said. Police Commissioner Richard Ross described the attack on Officer Jesse Hartnett, captured on a police surveillance camera, as an attempted assassination. He just came out of nowhere and started firing on him, Ross said. He just started firing with one aim and one aim only: to kill him. Ross said Archer told police he believed the department defends laws that are contrary to Islam. Police said there was no indication anyone was involved, but Ross also said it stands to reason there is more unknown than known. Boy, you can say that again. Is there no end to this? You know, you've heard me say it many times. I was raised in a much more peaceful, serene world than this one. Well, Powerball soars to $800 million as states see strong sales. You know what? $800 million bucks. I might spend a couple bucks and see if, I got as much chance as anybody, I suppose. With Powerball sales breaking previous records, the odds are growing that someone will win Saturday night's $800 million jackpot. But if no one matches all the numbers, the next drawing is expected to soar past, get this, $1 billion. Wow. Now, that's worth spending a few bucks for, even though you know the chances are against you. For this weekend's record drawing, about 65% of the possible number combinations will have been bought. Officials with the Multi-State Lottery Association, which runs the Powerball game, said today that percentage could rise if the jackpot estimate is increased, but even lottery officials say they don't know what to expect. You can throw out the logic, you can throw out the statistics, said Gary Grief, executive director of the Texas Lottery. We've never seen jackpots like this. It's a new experience for all of us. Wow, can you imagine? Since November the 4th, the Powerball jackpot has grown from its $40 million starting point as no one has won the jackpot. Grief is more certain what will happen if no one matches the numbers on 5 white balls in the 1 red Powerball this time. It will definitely go past $1 billion if we roll past this Saturday, he said. Well, I don't know about you guys. I'm going to buy a Powerball ticket. Probably just one. Only takes one to win, and I'm not that confident anyway, but I'll buy one, maybe 2, who knows. How about this? An armed group not ready to end the wildlife refuge occupation. The leader of an armed group occupying a national wildlife refuge to protest government land management policies said today, that he and his fellow followers are not ready to leave, even though the sheriff and many locals say the group has overstayed their welcome. How long will this go on? Said Amon Mundy, leader of the group that seized the headquarters of the refuge in southeastern Oregon late Saturday. We say to you, not a minute too early. Bundy met a day earlier with Harney County Sheriff David Ward, who asked Bundy to heed the will of locals and leave the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge. Ward also offered to escort Bundy and his group out of the refuge to ensure safe passage. We will take that offer, Bundy said, on Friday. That's today, but not yet. So we'll see. Well, prosecutor says that Paris fugitive hid out in a suspected bomb factory. Belgian prosecutors today revealed new details about the biggest mystery in the Paris attacks. What happened to fugitive Salah Abdeslam after he ditched his car and explosive vest? After slipping through a police dragnet, they said, he apparently hid out in the same Brussels apartment that served as the killer's bomb factory. We found material to make explosives, we found traces of explosives, and we found 3 belts. So you don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to make the right deduction, Belgian federal prosecutor Eric van der Sijpt, told the Associated Press. Also discovered during the December 10th police search of the third-floor residence of the Rue Henri Berge, one of 26-year-old Abdeslam's fingerprints, the federal prosecutor's office announced in a statement. Well, go figure. It just keeps going. Well, let's leave you with this one. Ted Cruz's outsider claims belie his political insider past. Ted Cruz relishes his role as Washington insurgent and Tea Party agitator, but today's political outsider built much of his career around being a GOP insider, thriving in peaceful circles or powerful circles he now says he'd like to dismantle. A Princeton graduate and Harvard-trained attorney, Cruz clerked for Chief Justice William Rehnquist at the Supreme Court, the very court he now accuses of judiciary tyranny. While working as a Washington lawyer in 1998, Cruz represented one of his future Capitol Hill nemesis, John Boehner. He helped get George W. Bush elected president in 2000 before the Bush White House engaged conservative activists by running up federal deficits. Now, do not go away. When we come back, we're going to do the IRS loses. And the first case up is issuance of a Form 1099 doesn't prove that the income on it was actually paid. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages, so please don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. Let's not waste any time. Let me get you right to it. The first case we're talking about is issuance of a Form 1099 does not prove that the income on it was actually paid. Let me tell you about it. Eric Altman worked on a construction job for Albert McMickle at $12.50 an hour from mid-November until early January. Now, McMickle then filed a 1099 saying that he had paid $3,497 to Allman. When the IRS tried to collect tax on that amount, Allman protested that he had been paid no more than $1,800. The dispute went to tax court. This is what the decision of the judge was. A 1099 does not by itself prove payment of income. Now here, Allman credibly testified that he had worked 35 hours a week and took time off for Thanksgiving and Christmas, leading to the $1,800 number. The IRS produced no evidence supporting the larger number, so Allman's lower number is accepted. Shame on the IRS. Shame on the company who sent that 1099 out. How about this? The IRS concedes. Now, you've heard me say it. The IRS never concedes unless they're pretty sure that they can't prevail in court. And that's what's going on here. This is the thing. Amounts paid into an IRA are restorative not excess contributions. Let me tell you about it. A woman's IRA was depleted when her investment advisor made improper investments for it and made personal use of her IRA funds. When the wrongdoing was discovered, she sued him, his employer, and related parties. The suits and threatened suits resulted in her receiving awards and settlement amounts, and she deposited them in her IRA. She then asked the IRS for a ruling that these were not prohibited excess contributions to the IRA. The IRS says the payments compensated for loss of IRA value due to wrongdoing, so they are restorative and not subject to the normal contribution limits. Just common sense. That's the way it should be, right? How about this? The IRS loses. This is interesting. A yacht captain is entitled to foreign earned income exclusion. Now, this is a big deal, guys. Myron Struck was captain of a private yacht that sailed primarily in foreign waters. Now, he owned a house in California, claimed the property tax homeowner's exemption for that house, and kept bank accounts and a driver's license in California. Now, when Struck claimed the foreign earned income exclusion for his salary, the IRS said that he had no tax home abroad, so he wasn't qualified for it. So he went to court. This is what the judge said. Struck lived on the yacht and rented out the California home, so he did not have a home in the U.S. The yacht's log showed that he was in foreign waters for 330 days during the year, so he meets the tax code's requirement and receives the exclusion. Now, lest you think that's some small thing, that's $100,000 worth of non-taxable income that he gets because of that foreign tax exclusion. So, swallow that one a little bit. Well, you've heard me talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing things. Well, that's where we're at right now with this segment that we call Inside the IRS. Yeah, it's almost like a Twilight Zone kind of deal when we're talking about the IRS, isn't it? But I do love these two segments. Let's talk about this. Did you know there are some volunteer preparer foul-ups taking place? According to a recently released report by the Treasury Inspector General, more than half of the tax returns prepared by the federal government's Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, that's VITA, that's VITA, last year's filing season, were inaccurate. The Inspector General based his report on the results of a test sample of 36 tax returns. 22 of the 36 were found to contain errors, and in recent years, the IRS has been criticized for delegating too much of its own responsibility for taxpayer service to volunteers who lack the experience to gather the proper information and apply the appropriate tax law. So here's the lessons for you. You do get what you pay for. Just keep that in mind. That's exactly what happens. Let me give you one more. This is about the post-9/11 issues, post-9/11 tax-free working condition fringe benefits that are recognized by the IRS. And this is all took place because of 9/11, but it's still good in good law today. Special security precautions provided by companies to their senior executives may not be fully subject to income tax. Now, for example, employer-provided vehicles fitted with bulletproof glass, chauffeurs trained in invasive driving techniques, armed bodyguards, and the use of private aircraft for personal trips may all be considered working condition fringe benefits as defined by the tax code and regulations. Now, special rules define what portion of the benefit is subject to tax and what portion is tax-free. Important rule here, the employer must establish an overall security program, which generally means that the employee is protected 24 hours a day. Now, that's the biggie, right? That's where you're going. Now, do not go away. We're going to go on a short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to be with our own John Matthews and Joe Hakos, and we're going to be doing our syndicated program together right here on Robert Cardoza Live. So don't go away. We'll be right back with John Matthews and Joe Hakos. Usually a little bit of time goes by before we actually get to them, but we'll get to it.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from the basement of his strategic planning room located at his political hideaway in Los Angeles County, the dedicated man who stands and serves the political conscience of our nation, Mr. John Matthews.
Okay, so here we are. I'm Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. John will be with us in about 1 minute or so, and we're going to be doing our simulcast together, where it's my radio show, his radio show, and the whole world listening to us on the Conservative Syndicate. And, we do this every Monday and Friday from 3:30 till 4 o'clock, and it's a great opportunity. John is a very knowledgeable man, and his sidekick there, Joe Hakos, if we could talk about their backgrounds, we'd probably get arrested. I don't know what's happening with that kind of stuff, but these guys are just really, really well tuned in. Now they do sometimes go a little bit off the wall, but you know what? You've got to respect what it is that they're doing and how they do it. They're really great guys, and they have their own opinions, and I have mine. Sometimes we agree. Sometimes we don't agree. We never, you never know what's going to happen when it comes to John Matthews and Joe Hakos and myself. Joe has actually been on vacation. I think he's on vacation this week as well, and so he may not be with us. Joe Hakos, for those of you that don't know, he lives in Florida, out in the Miami area, and he actually helps John on his broadcast every single day, Monday through Friday. Terrific guy, and John I've known for a long, long time. well connected, well read, an intelligent, articulate man. So he'll be calling in here. Should be any second now, I'm guessing. I'm not sure why he hasn't actually popped on just yet. But he should. He'll give us a buzz here in just a second. He's probably trying. He probably can't see the numbers on his dialer to get in here. There he is right now. And we're on with John Matthews in the Conservative Syndicate. Hey, John, you there, buddy? Hello. What happened? Don't know what happened to John. Let's see if we can't get him back here. Let's try that again. Hey, John, you out there? Hey, John, you out there? Hey, John. I'm not sure I'm understanding why he's not getting through to me. Let's try it one more time. Hey, John. Hey, John, have I got you now? Well, I don't know what's going on here. So, you know what? John, call me on my cell phone. Let's try it that way. I don't know why that's not working. Let's try this. Try it this way. I don't, sometimes we give this thing a try, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't work, and I'm not sure I can understand exactly why it doesn't work. But basically, we're going to give this guy one more shot here, and let me give him a call here this way. So let's see if that works. And is it ringing? There it goes. Let's see if we can get him this way. So, and we're waiting, and we're waiting, and we're waiting, and I'm still waiting, and I'm still waiting, and it doesn't look like I'm going to get him. I'm not sure what the issue is, but, well, you know what? I'm not sure what's going on here, so let me leave him a message and tell him I'm going to just move forward. Let me see. Say, hey, John, what's happening? Okay, and in the meantime, you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to pull out, some other, maybe we'll talk about. Let's talk about some tax stuff. I think you might like that. Let's talk about how to cut your AGI, your adjusted gross income. You might find that interesting, and we can go through it that way. And so basically, due to the complexity of the tax code, maximizing the value of your deductions involves much more than just listing as many as you can, if you can think of. Now, this month, we're looking at strategies aimed at taxpayers' overall tax returns that can increase the cash saving value of deductions no matter how many are claimed. Next month, we'll show how to maximize the value of many specific deductions, including medical expenses, because I want to get into a segment where we're going to talk about all kinds of different tax deductions for different kinds of people. And so we'll do that. But right now, the AGI key. The first key to maximizing the total value of your deductions is reducing the adjusted gross income, or AGI, reported on your tax return. As AGI rises, many deductions and other tax-saving items lose value due to limits written into the tax code. By reducing your AGI, you can increase the value of these tax savers. Now, AGI-related deduction limitations, percentage of AGI deduction floors limit casualty and theft deductions to those exceeding 10% of AGI, medical deductions to those exceeding also 10% of AGI, and miscellaneous deductions are itemized expenses which include employee business expenses, investment expenses, and most legal fees to those exceeding 2% of AGI. So the higher your AGI, the less you can deduct for these items. Now, adjusted gross income limits totally eliminate many tax breaks when AGI is too high. Let me give you some examples of that. The Hope and Lifetime Learning Credits are phased out as AGI rises from $45,000 to $55,000 on a single return and from $90,000 to $110,000 on a joint return. The deduction of up to $25,000 allowed for losses from rental real estate when you actively participate in its management is phased out as AGI rises from $100,000 to $150,000. Now, conversion of a regular IRA to a Roth IRA is not allowed when AGI exceeds $100,000. Total itemized deductions generally are reduced by 3% of the amount by which AGI exceeds $150,500 on either a single or joint return. Total personal exemptions also are reduced by 2% for each $2,500 or part thereof by which AGI exceeds $150,500 on a single return or $225,750 on a joint return. Now take note of this. These reductions are themselves phased out by 1/3 starting last year, so only 2/3 of the reductions apply this year. The strategy? Reduce your AGI to increase the value of tax-saving items throughout your return. Here's an example of that. Reducing AGI by $10,000 can increase the deduction available for real estate losses by up to $5,000, increase the casualty loss deduction by $1,000, and medical deductions by $750. It can also increase the deduction for miscellaneous itemized expenses by $200 and increase the available lifetime learning credit and possibly much more, in addition to avoiding the tax on the $10,000 of income itself. Now take note, tax items may be tied to modified adjusted gross income, which with or without certain income and deductions, such as the foreign earned income exclusion. For purposes of capacity, I'm not going to be able to, I'm going to only deal with the AGI part of that only. So let's talk about reducing AGI. Here's some ways to reduce your AGI. Take above-the-line deductions. These are claimed on page 1 of Form 1040 and have the special benefit of reducing AGI. They are reported on the return above the line where AGI is calculated. Above-the-line deductions include those for contributions to IRAs, self-employment retirement plans, and health savings accounts, and for the cost of moving expenses, alimony, student loan interest, and self-employed health insurance premiums. For a complete list, check the section called Adjusted Gross Income on page 1 of your tax return. And use employer benefits that reduce taxable income. Many employers offer benefits programs that convert taxable income into benefits that are not included in the AGI. Let me give you a couple of examples of this. Contributions to 401k or other employer-sponsored retirement plans, payments into flexible spending accounts used for health or dependent care expenses, cafeteria plan accounts offering dental care and other benefits. Also, you can defer income. By postponing receipt of income until after year end, you not only defer owing tax on that income until next year's return, you also increase the value of the deductions on this year's return due to the AGI limitations. How? Delay taking investment gains until after year end. Postpone bonuses if you can. Delay taking elective distributions from retirement accounts. Reduce business income. If you receive income from self-employment or from pass-through entities such as a partnership or S corporation, deductions taken by the business reduce your personal income and so can increase the size of AGI limited personal deductions. If you own a business on the cash basis, delay sending out bills so that cash comes in after the year end. Make discretionary deductible year-end business expenses, such as purchases of business equipment or supplies, repairs, advertising, even business meals. Actually, you can do those in advance. Transfer an IRA funds to charity. Now, those age 70 and a half and older have an opportunity to help favorite tax-exempt organizations while reducing AGI. They can transfer distributions from an IRA to a charity tax-free up to $100,000 per year. While no deduction is taken for the contribution, AGI is minimized by not having to include a distribution in the income. So those are all things that you really want to be paying attention to all the time. Now, don't go away. When we come back, I'm going to give you some more deduction maximizers, and we'll talk all about that right after these brief messages. In the meantime, I'm going to see what the heck is going on with our own John Matthews. We've never had this kind of a problem before, but in any event, don't go away. We'll be right back, and I'll continue the deduction for maximizers on your AGI. We'll be right back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Well, I did get a hold of John Matthews. He says I never answered his call, but I did. So we're having some technical problems between the communication side of what's going on here. I'm not sure I know exactly what that is, but in any event, we do have it. We'll get it resolved one way or another. So let me just continue on with our maximizers. There's more deduction maximizers that we can take place here. other broad ways to increase deductions. Bunch your deductions. You itemize your tax deductions only when they total more than the standard deduction. And that's $10,300 on a joint return or $5,150 on a single return. So you may not itemize every year. If you don't, consider bunching deductions in years that you itemize. Let me give you an example of that. If you will itemize this year, but not next year, accelerate all possible deductible expenditures to before year end. If you won't itemize this year, delay such expenditures until after year end. Use the same tactic with individual deductions subject to the AGI limits. Let me give you an example of that. If your medical expenses are going to be more than the 10% of AGI floor, try to incur foreseeable medical expenses and pay them by year end. If you won't be over the floor this year, delay paying medical bills until next year. So they may help you get over the floor then. They count for tax purposes when paid, not when you become liable for them. Now, file separate returns. This can make sense if one spouse has a large deduction that is reduced by joint income due to an AGI deduction limit. So let me give you an example of that. A wife suffers an uninsured $20,000 theft loss of jewelry. The couple's combined AGI is $200,000, so the 10% of AGI floor for casualty losses prevents any deduction on a joint return. If the wife's AGI on a separate return is $30,000, she can deduct a $17,000 casualty on it. Now, you got to be careful. Separate filing has many effects, so run full return numbers both ways to find out the best result for it. And beware of the AMT, alternative minimum tax. This can cost the benefit of many deductions, such as for employee business expenses and state and local taxes, and cause changes to many normal tax strategies. So check AMT liability with your tax expert as soon as possible. You're going to certainly want to make sure that you're doing those kinds of things, Well, you know what? Let's talk about scam artists a little bit. I think you might find that a little interesting. They're always lurking, seeking ways to profit from taxpayers' natural desire to cut their tax bills, right? And this is the time for that kind of stuff. The 10 most common tax scams today, as identified by the IRS. First up is phishing. Now, that's not phishing with an F. That's phishing with a P. The hottest tax scam now, it involves bogus email messages reportedly from the IRS that deceive victims into revealing confidential information such as Social Security and bank account numbers. The scam artists then use this information to commit ID theft. How it works? An email message says that there is a reason for the recipient to contact the IRS, such as to expedite a tax refund or to clear up a tax account problem. The message includes a link for the recipient to click to go to the IRS website, but the link actually goes to a counterfeit web page that only looks like it is part of the IRS website. The web page then prompts the individual to enter the confidential information that is supposedly needed to resolve the problem. The danger? The IRS says that more than 100 different variations on this scam have appeared since November of last year, and that new ones are appearing all the time. Well, the self-defense here? Know that the IRS never sends out unsolicited emails discussing confidential tax matters or seeking personal information. So if you receive such an email, know that it's a bogus issue. How about the misuse of trusts? For years, unscrupulous promoters have falsely sold trusts as a tax avoidance devices, and they continue to do so. Sometimes promoters claim that by paying wage or investment income into a trust, an individual escapes the duty to pay income tax on it. Other scammers claim that by putting home and other assets into a trust you own or control, you become able to deduct payments made to the trust for use of the house or assets. The scammer can claim anything that might be believed by a victim. The reality? Trusts can serve many good legal purposes, but tax evasion isn't one of them. Generally, income earned in a trust continues to be taxable to you if you continue to control and use the trust assets. If you truly give away the assets within the trust, the income earned on them will be taxed to the trust itself and or its owners, so tax payments will remain due. It's true that there are particular types of trusts approved by the tax code and IRS that can reduce taxes under specific circumstances. Self-defense? If you think that you're obtaining one of these legitimate trusts, have it reviewed by an independent expert, such as a tax lawyer or a CPA. Don't rely on the word of a person selling it. Dubious credit counseling agencies? Well, IRS warns that many credit counseling agencies that advertise being tax exempt and nonprofit charge debtors large fees while doing little or nothing to help them reduce their debts. The IRS is now reviewing and revoking the tax exempt status of many of these companies. Now, the self-defense here? Before going to a credit counseling agency, ask for referrals from friends of your lawyer, your accountant, or other professional advisor who may have direct knowledge of a legitimate agency, and check its status with the Better Business Bureau. How about abuse of charities? Boy, a lot of that goes on. The IRS says that it is detecting growing abuse of charities by persons who set them up and then pay themselves very high fees for managing them and or use the funds in them to their own personal expenses or purposes. They rely on the goodwill of donors and the fact that charities pay no taxes and thus generally receive little audit scrutiny to escape the detection. But the IRS says that it is now increasing audit examinations of suspicious charities. The self-defense here? Before donating to an unfamiliar charity, obtain its IRS Form 990, Return of Organization Exempt from Income Tax. This tax return details how its funds are spent. Form 990s are available at www.guidestar.org, which has data on 1.5 million nonprofits. Well, check the charity's behavior against recommended standards set by the Better Business Bureau's Wise Giving Alliance by checking their free evaluative reports on national charities at www.give.org. And how about asset hiding offshore transactions? Well, you hear a lot about that, right? Many people move funds into foreign banks, brokerage accounts, trusts, and or investments, such as annuities, believing that they have, after they move funds abroad, they aren't required to report income earned on them or can get away with not doing so. The reality, though, is U.S. citizens are liable for income tax on all their income worldwide and are required to report such income on their tax returns, no matter where it is earned or received. The IRS has initiated new enforcement efforts that have proven effective in finding funds in foreign accounts, such as by examining the records of U.S. credit card companies to find cards drawing on funds abroad. You know what? There's still some more self-defense that can take place here. Report all income from all sources. Frivolous legal arguments? There are always tax protesters arguing and selling books and materials proving false legal claims. And let me give you a couple of examples of that. The 16th Amendment, which authorizes the income tax, was never properly ratified. The duty to file a tax return violates the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination or Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable search and seizure. The payment of taxes legally is voluntary and so on. In fact, people who act on such claims risk winding up with back tax bills, interest, and expensive penalties, and maybe some time away from home, one of those federal resorts. Self-defense here? Don't waste your money or time or risk your wealth on any of these materials. Well, employment tax evasion. Here employees instruct employers not to withhold taxes from wages, falsely claiming that they don't owe the tax, or claim greatly excessive tax-free reimbursements for medical expenses, business driving, and other items. The warning here, last year, more than 50 individuals were sentenced to prison for employment tax evasion for an average of 30 months. Employers can be held liable as well. Now, the self-defense here, file a correctly filled out Form W-4 with your employer. That's what you want to do. Now, return preparer fraud, there's a lot of that going on. Unscrupulous tax return preparers seek business from potential clients by promising tax refunds to them even before reviewing their particular tax situations. This should be a big red flag to the potential client, but individuals who are eager to cut their taxes may believe such claims, or at least believe that if they themselves don't prepare the return, they won't be liable for the false statements that are on it. Now, here's a warning for you. You are responsible for what is reported on your tax return, no matter who prepares that return. This means not only for paying the taxes, but also for penalties and potential fraud charges. The self-defense, if the promises of your preparers sound too good to be true, they most likely are. It may be time to change to a safer preparer. And how about zero wage corrected returns? You know, in this relatively new scam, the taxpayer hires a substitute or files a substitute Form W-2 or corrected 1099 to reduce amounts reported on wages or business payments on an original W-2 or 1099. The corrected income numbers may be reduced to zero, and often this is all reported on an amended tax return, Form 1040X, in the hope that the IRS will accept the amended return without referring to the data on the return, the original return. The IRS warns it is on to this scam and is checking such amended returns and filings. The self-defense here, file an amended return only if you are a legitimate correction to make on these kind of items. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, we're going to be talking to our own David Garrett on the law. We'll be right back with David after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000. 5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. You know what? It's currently 4:03 p.m. Pacific time, and it's 57 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, my good buddy David Garrett is waiting in the wings, and he's going to do Garrett on the Law. So let me give him a proper introduction and get him in here.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from the bowels of the Hall of Justice, our own legal guru, David Garrett, attorney at law.
Hey, David, welcome aboard. Happy New Year to you, my friend.
Well, Happy New Year. How are you doing?
I'm doing terrific. Good to hear your voice. Were you safe? Everything going well for you?
Yeah, we went up to northern Idaho and walked around in the snow.
Wow. So you had a white Christmas.
Oh, yeah, that's an understatement. I think we got about 18 inches up there and learned about shoveling snow and pulling it off the roof and all sorts of things that are absolutely necessary for me to know.
Well, David, you're supposed to have people do that for you.
Oh, yeah, I think, I'll tell you.
Well, I'm glad you're back. Good to hear your voice. Listen, what do we got going on for today? Anything special?
Well, I had a few things to talk about. I thought it'd be kind of interesting to talk about Mr. Affluenza.
Oh, yeah.
Ethan Couch and how this thing's kind of, depending on your point of view, is going to go pretty south, in my opinion, for at least those that think he should spend a lot of time this time. And
well, you know what? I'm not so sure that I understand that whole thing so much. Could you kind of define that for the people that are listening and don't know what we're talking about?
Well, that kid, what did he do? He killed 4 people by hitting a parked car because he was had a blood alcohol of 2.4, and it was on Valium, and probably more miracle he was even walking than anything else. But and then they go to in the juvenile court. The argument was made that because he came from a wealthy family that had never held him accountable for anything, he hadn't had the ability in his life to learn responsibility. That's kind of saying it in layman's terms.
Well, is that actually going to hold water?
Oh, it did. It held water there. They put him on 10 years probation and called it good.
Jeez. I don't know about you, but I have a serious problem with that.
Oh, yeah, I thought that was just crazy.
That's
absolutely crazy.
What about these guys up in Oregon? These federal land sitters, I guess we could call them. Bundy. What? I think it's just a miracle somebody didn't get shot up there yet.
Yeah. I haven't been following that one that close. What's going on up there?
Well, you remember the guy that he actually owed the federal government over $1 million for grazing his cattle on federal property up in Oregon. This was I can't remember the first guy's name, but his last name was Bundy. And now there's a man Bundy who is this first guy's son. Is now squatting with a number of people on federal land on a preserve, on a wildlife preserve, saying that he doesn't like the way the government is managing the government property. So they're squatting on this thing, and the FBI is out there, the police are out there, the military is out there. These people have actually got guns out there. This Bundy, this Amon Bundy, who's the son of the Bundy that owes the $1 million to the government, he's actually got a coat and a cowboy hat, and he's underneath a blue tarp with a gun, a rifle. This is the most ridiculous thing in the world. And you know what's even worse? They do all this squatting, they cause all this money. I don't know what the money for law enforcement is in this case. But now they have offered to escort him off the property to make sure that he's not harmed in any way, because the residents and the neighbors and the community want them out of there, right? Well, they're saying, okay, they're gonna take him up on it this afternoon, and nobody's gonna go to jail, nobody's gonna get arrested, nobody's gonna get fined. I don't get this at all.
Oh, that's crazy.
Just dumb stuff. Hey, let me ask you a question, and you may not be able to answer it, but Chapa, I forget his last name, Gonzalez, I think it is. The big drug lord out of Mexico that was, he escaped from prison 6 months ago and he got recaptured. You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
And apparently now the United States is upset with Mexico. Mexico caught this guy after he escaped from a maximum security prison. They caught him. He was gone for he was out for 6 months before they caught him. Now the the United States has a number of states where he's broken laws. They want to try him and incarcerate him here. Mexico says no, he's going to finish his sentence there first. Now it's creating a big diplomatic deal going on. Who cares who this Guzman is? And this is Chapa Guzman is his guy's name. Who cares?
Right.
What I really think is they ought to do to him what the Chinese do. It's a speedy trial and a speedy punishment. They just take him out back, right from the courthouse, right out back, put a bullet behind his ear, and send the bill to the family.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you what I think's going on there is, I think this he is managed to buy enough influence in various areas of government that they don't want him to get up here.
No. I mean, you're talking about the guy's got more money than Carter's got liver pills.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, they're...
Excuse me.
The politicians that, I can't point at it directly, but may or may not have accepted some influence, certainly would not want that spread all over the world. So
yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
What's your take on Ted Cruz right now? Donald Trump is starting his birther thing again. Only this time, instead of it being against Obama, since Obama's in his last year, it's against Ted Cruz, since Cruz was born in Canada, and Trump is questioning Cruz's legitimacy to run for president. Have you been following that at all?
A little bit. I think that, me personally, I think that's an issue that probably ought to just be ignored. So,
oh yeah. You know why Trump is doing it. Trump is behind in Iowa now, and Cruz is getting in the way. And I think Trump is starting to create controversy to see if he can't get some of those votes back. The truth is I mean, I'm not a constitutional attorney, and nor do I know that much about it. But I do know this. And that is that if your parents are even one of your parents is a United States citizen, and you are born outside of the country by that parent, a legitimate United States citizen, then you're considered a natural born United States citizen, and that's what they're questioning. So this is they're even questioning. This is crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, with the cases holding what they hold, this is just kind of one of those non-issues. And me personally, I think Trump is, if anything, helping Cruz by making these arguments right now.
Well, I think that when it comes down to the GOP, I don't think that Rubio has a chance here, but I do think it's between Trump and Cruz on the GOP side, and they've got to stop these guys that are below them from splitting the vote. So Trump is going after the biggest guy, and Cruz right now is in double digits, and he's leading in Iowa, and I think that's scaring Trump. As far as the GOP is concerned.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're dead on there. Yeah.
So hey, listen. Any new laws take place? Every year, right after January, the governor has signed laws that take effect on January the 1st. Anything new that we should know about?
There have been a few. I mean, we know about the you got to go register your drone now.
Is that a state deal or a federal deal?
That's a federal deal.
Yeah.
And then in California State, there's an interesting law here that got signed that where if the family thinks that, I'm just paraphrasing this, I haven't looked at it precisely, but basically, if the family thinks one of their family members that has guns is, going through some sort of mental health crisis or something, they can just call the sheriff, apparently, or law enforcement, and law enforcement can go over and take the guns away for a short period of time.
Well, didn't they say something about if the family is aware of this and something catastrophic happens, that the family can be held liable?
I didn't see that yet. That would surprise me, but I mean, that would be a natural outflow of that law that we were talking about. Because now they've imposed, they haven't imposed a duty, but they've imposed an ability to do something about it.
Yeah.
It just, I think that's one of those well-meaning kind of laws that in application is going to fall flat on its face.
Yeah.
Just, the idea that, if the family knows about something, they ought to call and say something. That's a good idea. But, if on the flip side, how many little family squabbles where there's nothing going on whatsoever going to result in telephone calls being made. All you have to do is walk by divorce court and all that stuff's going to happen.
So, hey, listen, are you willing to take a little bit of a quiz to find out where you stand with the rest of the candidates?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'd do that.
Let's do that real quick. First, and I'll give you the choices. First of all, the question is this. How should the United States income tax code be changed? And here's the choices. 1, taxes on the wealthy should be increased, but not for those making less than $250,000. Answer 2 is institute a flat tax on personal income. 3 is cut taxes on wealthy corporations as part of tax code overhaul, eliminate taxes on investments. And 4, eliminate income tax and create a federal sales tax. What would you choose? You had choices again?
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about them. I would favor either the consumption tax or the flat tax.
Okay, so which one of those? Because you only get to get one of them.
Only get one?
Yeah.
I'd probably go with the consumption tax, the sales tax.
Okay, so let me get to that. Okay. Well, come on. There we go. And the next question is on immigration, the United States should, and the first answer is some reform, expand the guest worker program, require people living in the country illegally to pass background checks and pay taxes. The second answer is stop the deportation of immigrants and create a path to citizenship. The third is limit the number of people who can immigrate to the United States. And fourth, do nothing until the border is firmly secured. What would your answer be?
I'd probably go with the first option.
Okay. And let's go. The next question is, which of these statements most closely align with your views on climate change? Climate change is not attributed to human activity. The science on climate change is unproved. Human activity helps drive the rise in greenhouse gases that cause climate change, or undecided?
Number 2.
Okay. And This question is, what do you think the United States should do about Common Core, a federally supported educational standards program? Should they repeal it? Should they support Common Core because there should be some guidelines on what students should know in math, reading, and English? Or Common Core has some benefits, but it needs to be changed?
I think the last one.
Okay. And the next question is, in what cases should abortions be permitted? Only in some cases, such as rape and incest. In most cases, only if the woman's life is at stake. In no circumstances.
I would probably go most cases.
Okay. And
I hope I get to explain these answers after we go through these.
Well, you're gonna find this interesting. Now we're on question number 6 out of 9. Do you support the legalization of marijuana for medical purposes? Yes, no, or allow states to decide?
Allow states to decide.
Okay. And question number 7 is, how should the U.S. address the issue of saving the Social Security program from bankruptcy? Should it expand the program through lifting the cap on payroll taxes? Should it privatize the program? Should it gradually increase retirement age? Change cost of living?
You're breaking up.
Okay, let me try it again. Can you hear me okay now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Start at the beginning with that one.
Okay. The question was, how should the United States address the issue of saving the Social Security program from bankruptcy? A, expand the program through lifting the cap on payroll taxes. B, privatize the program. C, gradually increase retirement age. D, change cost of living adjustment calculation. Or E, not specified.
I would go not specified there.
Okay. And number 8 out of 9 questions is, what kind of foreign policy standing would be best for the United States? A, the United States should expand its military presence around the world and engage early. B, the United States should have a smaller overseas military program and cut down on wasteful spending. And C, not specified.
Not specified there.
Okay. And the last question is, how should the United States respond to the ongoing issue of gun violence? A, new laws will not reduce gun deaths. Lawmakers should focus on other surrounding issues. B, the U.S. needs sensible gun control regulations with tighter restrictions. Or C, not sure.
I would go with A.
Okay. And let's see where you stand, my friend. Right now, your issue standings are close to more than 3 candidates highlighted, and it's hard to make a choice for you. So in taxes, you actually are aligned with these Huckabee. And boy, these pictures are dumb here. What the heck is the? I can't remember the card. What was the surgeon's name? I can't think of his name.
Carson.
Carson, yeah, Carson, Huckabee, or Rubio. That's on taxes. You also, so you're in that group now.
Okay.
On immigration, it's Bush, Carson, Fiorina. And who the heck? I didn't even know who this last guy is, but he's not important anyway. So I don't recognize. I think of these weird pictures that are here. I have no idea what that is. So anyway, you're with him. Now, climate change. You're with Ben Carson. You're with Ted Cruz and Donald Trump.
Okay.
On Common Core, you're with Carly Fiorina.
Okay.
On abortion, you're with Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
On medical marijuana, you're with Rubio.
Oh, okay.
With Social Security, you're with Hillary Clinton. On foreign policy, you're with Bush, Carson, Fiorina, and Huckabee. And then finally on gun control, you're with Bush, Carson, Fiorina, Huckabee, and I don't know who that last guy is, and I don't care.
Yeah.
But I find it just a little interesting. Anyway, don't go away. We got to go on a commercial break. When we come back, we'll hear some more from our own David Garrett on the law. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:27 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 57 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. And that's on its way down to 39 degrees. We're talking to our own David Garrett on the law. Hey, David, you obviously now are, a really good Republican. You side with the majority of the frontrunners of the Republican Party, with the exception of abortion, where you side with Hillary Clinton. So was that enlightening for you, or pretty much you thought that was the way it was going to go?
Yeah, I think it was close to that. But I suspect my reasonings might be a whole lot different than some of theirs.
Yeah, you know what? It's hard when when I took that thing, it was I read a lot. The answers that they gave weren't as complete as what I needed for the way I was thinking.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, the tax one, the first one you brought up there. I guess the main reason for my thinking there is Congress and the government do so much social engineering and are beholden to so many special interest groups through the way they adopt the tax code that if we did something to take their ability to do those particular efforts out of how they tax people, I think society would be better for it.
Well, what I like about your answer with that is that would totally eliminate the need for the IRS. If they had a national sales tax, we wouldn't need the IRS at all. The only part that concerns me a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit, is because, you called it right. As opposed to a national sales tax, you called it a consumption tax, and that's exactly what it is. And the only part that bothers me there is that you get taxed on what you spend. And so if you get somebody making $30,000 a year or $50,000 a year or whatever it is, they're spending every nickel they make, right? So they get taxed on 100% of their income. If you get somebody who's making $250,000 a year or $100,000 a year, they may not spend it all. They may put it into a savings account, which means that they do not get taxed on that money. So I'm not so sure how I feel about that, but certainly some modification of it would be okay. I think if you get a Trump who's worth $10 billion and he's only going to pay taxes on what he spends, I think there's something wrong with it.
No, I would agree with that. I think you could do some sort of either bracketing there,
I think
but if you look at the flip side of it, if we encourage people to save and invest as opposed to spend everything they make,
and that's good for everybody. And you're absolutely right. And the other thing is these big guys that don't pay on that extra income, what they do is they invest. They invest not only in companies but in businesses and create jobs and do all kinds of things with that money. And so it's really good for the economy and it's good for the United States all the way around. So if I had no choice, I couldn't modify a sales tax, then I think that I'd probably go toward the flat tax, because the flat tax means that everybody pays the same percentage, whether that be a low percentage or whatever it is, but everybody pays the same percentage on all of their income, including the guys that are making $1 billion a year, and then have a floor where if you're under this floor, you pay no tax, and just leave it at that, and you still would not need the IRS.
Yeah, you could do your return in about 4 lines.
Yeah, still wouldn't need the IRS, and I think that the biggest problem with tax in general is that no matter what they do with the tax, the government is going to look at it, and they create a tax code that creates enough money for them to do the things that they want to do. And the problem with the government today is it's just too god awful big. And a lot of the things that the government has mandated and spending money on should be within the purview of the states. The states should decide if they want to spend that money or not, have those benefits or not. And it shouldn't be a federal issue, and we shouldn't be spending all of this money on federal issues.
Oh, I agree 100% with you there. I mean, it's the flow of money that, in my opinion, has made the states so subservient to the federal government. The
only thing the federal government ought to have, first of all, we've got 500, or I should say 535 people in Washington, D.C. making $200,000 a year plus with all kinds of benefits, and they're doing nothing, right? So we got to curtail that kind of stuff. Then we've got government that should only be protecting us with the military. Isn't that what the government's supposed to do? Just keep us safe?
That was my thought. I mean, keep us safe and have some laws out there that society can function by and call it good.
Yeah, if they want to have health care, get a decent one, but I think it should be up to the states. And if you don't like your particular state's health care program and it's that important to you, move to another state.
Yeah. I could definitely go with that.
On the other hand, I have Medicare, so I can say that.
There you go. Run those other few questions you had by me real quick. There was the tax one. What was the next one? Well,
they had. Let me go back to it. I actually turned off that program. Hang on. Let me bring it back real quick. Okay. So come on. We had the taxes, which was that was the simplify the tax code, increase taxes on the wealthy, or a flat income tax. And you were in the flat income tax area.
Yeah.
Okay. That was not the flat income tax area and the sales tax area were the same one. They grouped them together. Then on immigration, you were with Bush and Carson, Fiorina, and I just can't figure out who this other guy is. Not important, I guess. They're using these cartoon type pictures, so you can't hardly tell.
Okay.
And then, and of course, Donald Trump is with mass deportation, right? But you're not with that. Then climate change, you're with Ben Carson.
Yeah, I got to tell you, my biggest problem with that climate change is we as humans look at, our lifetime as a very short period of time and think that, that what we observe is how it's always been. And if an effect comes about, it's because we did it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that there hasn't been warming and cooling over a bunch of years. But
well, you know what? I think you're right. But I have a different kind of a perspective. I'm not a scientist. I do believe in global warming and the greenhouse gas effect. But even if I didn't, what I do believe is we have about 7 billion people living on this planet, and it's going to grow leaps and bounds just naturally. I mean, China now allowing they have 1 billion people in China. They're going to allow each family to have 2 children now instead of 1. So, that'll be an extra 1 million people or an extra, 1 billion people in a short period of time. But other than that, I think what we do as residents of the world, citizens of the world, not the United States or China or Europe or any of those kind of things, but as citizens of the world, we owe it to ourselves and to our children and our children's children to maintain a planet that is pristine and not abuse it. And so whether you believe in global warming or you don't believe in global warming, you should believe in maintaining a pristine planet for everyone that's coming after us. And I mean, if you go to China, you can't even breathe, for Pete's sake. I think we have to be somewhat responsible and say, even if there isn't global warming, there are some things we can do to make our planet more self-sufficient and a better pristine place to live.
And see, that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, we need to act responsibly. I just have an issue when they start telling me it's because we're burning the planet up and raising the temperatures like that.
Yeah.
To me, they're 2 separate deals.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys go talk about that stuff, and I'll act responsibly and just leave me alone.
Yeah. Well, David, you're going to be surprised, but we are out of time.
Oh, wow. That went quick tonight.
Yeah, it really does. When we're having fun. I'm glad to have you back. I'm glad you're safe. I want you to go out and make, everybody's life better because you're in it.
Well, thank you. You too, Bob. And it was nice being back. I'll chat with you next week.
I look forward to it. You take care. Have a wonderful evening. And everybody else, don't go away. When we come back from these commercial messages, we're going to have the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teaching for your life, the Harvard business tip of the day, and interesting but useless facts. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:41 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 57 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way down to 39 degrees. But right now, it's time for our Harvard Business Tip of the Day. And the management tip today is ease the transition for an employee you're letting go. All companies need different kinds of talent at different points in their life cycles. Sometimes you have to part ways with collegial, talented employees who just aren't the right fit anymore. Here's how to help ease their transition out of your organization. First of all, don't wait to say what isn't working. When you have to give someone negative feedback, ask them if they see the same performance gaps that you see. Be respectful and compassionate and get them talking so they don't shut down. And once you decide someone isn't a long-term fit, tell them. Don't fire them on the spot. Give them as much time as possible to figure out their next move. Help them think through the strengths and where they might go from here. And then finally, don't forget the survivors. After helping the employee exit with grace, focus on your remaining team. Be clear about what's happening and spell out what success looks like going forward. Yeah, That's exactly what you should do. Well, let's talk about the lifestyle tip for the day, the secret daily teachings for your life. You know what? This is all about a positive mental attitude. You know my feeling about it. It works. It absolutely works. It's up to you. When you get up in the morning, how you feel, what you're going to accomplish, how you succeed. All those things are up to you. There are no limitations. You know what? The secret for today is to be in joy. Take a few minutes each day and intentionally send love to everyone you know and to the world. Really intensify the feeling of love and peace in your heart first, and then feel that love going out from your heart to everyone. The law of attraction matches the frequencies you send out and will return the love to you multiplied. When applied deeply and correctly, this exercise can completely change your life and at the same time, touch the lives of many. I believe in it. I subscribe to it. I think it's a fact. Well, you know what today is, right? Yep, it is Friday, January the 8th, and it's somebody's birthday. All right, and so we've got some good ones for today. You know, this guy was born in 1942, a theoretical physicist and author. In 2009, was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian award in the United States. Happy birthday, Stephen Hawking. And here's a fellow born in 1947, an English musician, actor, record producer, and arranger. Happy birthday, David Bowie. And finally, this person was born in 1967, an R&B and soul songwriter, a singer, an occasional rapper, and record producer. Happy birthday, R. Kelly. Well, what happened today in history? January the 8th, 1835, the United States national debt is zero for the only time. 1835. And on this date in 1867, African American men are granted the right to vote in Washington, D.C. And in 1964, President Lyndon Baines Johnson declares a war on poverty in the United States. We're still fighting that war. And finally, in 2002, President George W. Bush signs into law the No Child Left Behind Act. And we're still trying to work on that. Our quote today comes from Colette, and Colette says, "You will do foolish things, but do them with enthusiasm." Now, there you go. There's a fact for you. You should do everything in your life with enthusiasm. Well, it's time for those interesting but useless facts. We've got some great ones for you today, so hang on, sit down, hang on, and here we go. Kirk Hammett, the lead guitarist of Metallica, is a vegetarian. Did you know that? That's interesting. I don't know why it's interesting, but it's interesting. Did you know that 85% of plant life is found in the ocean? Now that is interesting. Let me give you this one. At the end of the Beatles song, A Day in the Life, an ultrasonic whistle audible only to dogs was recorded by Paul McCartney for his Shetland sheepdog. I didn't know that. That's kind of, you know what? I think I had heard that. I'm not sure though. I think I had heard that at one time. Well, did you know that while sleeping, 1 man in 8 snores? 1 man in 8. What is that? About 13%? And 1 in 10 grinds his teeth. That's 10%. Wow. Isn't that something? You know what? At Arkansas State University, 2 people cannot hold hands while standing in a doorway unless they belong to a union. You know what? There are so many weird laws on the books. It's just unbelievable. Did you know a ribbon worm will eat themselves if they cannot find food? They can still survive after eating up to 95% of their body weight. Oof. You know what? I don't even think I want to think about that. Here's one. The first American in space was Alan B. Shepard Jr. But you knew that. How about this? Did you know that useful life of a modern toilet is 50 years? There isn't much else we have that lasts that long. Try this on for size. 1 in 14 women in America is a natural blonde. Only 1 in 16 men are. There you go. Try this on. The world's second largest pipe organ is located at the Organ Grinder on 82nd Avenue in Portland, Oregon. Yeah. You know what? And who knows? Who cares? Do you know that bats are flying mammals? Yeah, not birds, mammals. How about this? The risk of cardiovascular disease is twice as high in women that snore regularly compared to women who do not snore at all. Well, that's a scary thought. Did you know orienteering originated from Sweden? Whatever orienteering is. How about this? There are around 40,000 different species of spider. Boy, that's a scary thought. Let me leave you with this. Did you know there are more than 50 different kinds of kangaroos? Now, there you go. It's a roo story. Now, don't go away. When we come back, I'm going to do your emails. The first one comes from Priscilla Locke from Irontown, Michigan, asking about withholding exemptions, and I'm going to explain all of that to you right after these brief messages. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Well, you know what? Coming down to the wire, time for us to do our emails for today. That makes me want to remind you that, sometimes the emails you send us are a little bit sketchy. So we do our best to give you a comprehensive answer, but we always encourage you to contact a licensed professional in your area. They're always going to save you more money than they cost you. And, one of the conditions of their licensing is that they have errors and omissions insurance. We also call that malpractice insurance. But what it means is that you don't have to worry if somebody is going to come knocking at your door or ring your doorbell or tap you on the shoulder or send you a registered letter or even call you, because if you got the wrong advice from a licensed professional, they pay the piper, not you. Well, let's talk about the emails for today. My first email, as I mentioned before, comes from Priscilla Locke from Irontown, Michigan, asking about withholding exemptions and says, I incurred a big business loss that will wipe out most of my tax bill for the year. I want to file a new W-4 taking enough withholding exemptions to eliminate the tax withheld from my pay. But I've been told that if I take more than 10, it must be reported to the IRS and will invite an audit. Is this true? Well, Priscilla, you don't have to be concerned about this. The IRS used to require that employers report to it whenever an employee took more than 10 withholding exemptions. But the current requirement is that employers only need to submit W-4s if the IRS requests them. The IRS may then limit how many exemptions that you are actually allowed. Now, you can and should take any number of withholding exemptions that you are entitled to in order to balance your tax payments for the year with your tax liability for the year. You know what? Everybody should pay their fair share of taxes, but not one god-awful penny more. Keep that in mind. Next email comes from Aramis Mendoza from Fitchburg, Massachusetts, asking about inherited bonds, and says, I inherited thousands of dollars worth of Series EE savings bonds from my mother. Is all of the interest on them taxed to me, even though most of it was earned before she died? Well, Aramis, interest on Series EE savings bonds generally is taxable when they mature or when they're cashed in, but the owner can elect to pay tax on the interest every year. If your mother made this election, then only interest earned after she died is going to be taxable to you. Now, find out if she made the election by looking at her personal tax returns to see if they reported the interest annually. Similarly, your mother's estate could have elected to pay tax on all the interest earned until her death, leaving the later earned interest taxable to you. So ask the executor. If neither election was made, all the interest on the bonds will be taxable to you. But you do get a break here. If her estate paid estate taxes, a portion is itemized deduction for you, ameliorating the impact of reporting that interest. So keep that in mind. Next email comes from Nate Morales from Bradenton, Florida, asking about tax obligations when abroad, and says, if I go on an extended foreign vacation or around the world cruise, how are IRS notices sent to me, and how should my tax filing obligations be handled while I'm gone? Good question, Nate. And you know what? If you're outside of the United States on vacation as opposed to living and working outside the United States, your tax filing obligations are the same as if you were at home. But today, it's easy to prepare and file your tax return by computer from almost anywhere, and you can, of course, get an automatic 6-month filing extension before leaving home. It can be a good idea to name a trusted agent, such as your tax pro, to receive notices from the IRS. Instruct the IRS to send copies of all tax notices to your agent by filing IRS Form 8821. That's Tax Information Authorization. Now, for more information, go to IRS Publication 54. That's Tax Guide for U.S. citizens and resident aliens abroad. Hopefully, that'll help you. Well, my last email comes from Ashlyn Morris from Faro, Oklahoma, asking about separate but equal, and says, when a married couple files separate returns, can one spouse itemize deductions and the other take the standard deduction? Ashlyn, no. Spouses who file separate returns must treat deductions in the same manner. If one spouse itemizes, so much the other. This is sometimes a problem with estranged spouses, so that's kind of the issue that's going on there. Now, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Roar, 1776 Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide every Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and on 405 Media Radio Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time. Also, the Pundit Press, PNN Talk Radio, and SHR Media Radio with John Matthews and the Conservative Syndicate on Mondays and Fridays from 3:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Periscope Video, LinkedIn, Google+, Podomatic, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. Now, on my next show, John Matthews and Joe Hakos and I do a simulcast on politics. We tried it today. We had some technical problems. I think it's on John's side, but we're going to do it again on Monday. And we'll have John Hanson, that little old wine drinker here, and he'll be talking about food and wine. So please tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network.
That show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. Don't forget to join me again on Monday for my next show from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. In the meantime, don't forget to get those apps from your app store. If you have an Apple product, just go to your Apple store and search Robert Cardoza Live. It's absolutely free. It's a good way to follow us. You can listen to us live, and you can actually chat with us. And if you have an Android or Windows product, just go to googleplay.com and you can do the same thing. Search Robert Cardoza Live. The app's absolutely free. We encourage you to do that and tell your friends about it. In the meantime, I want you to stay safe. I want you to stay happy. I want you to make everyone's life that you touch better because you're in it. And until our next show, good night, everybody.